Welcome to Talking Bills X's and O's, co-hosted by Ace Sports Reporter Sylvester. Sylvester will be asking 3 rounds of questions to a blue ribbon panel. Each panelist will take a round each. Regarding the state of the Buffalo Bills offense and defense, we will start with the first round. The first round panelist is the coach, Coach Coyote. Let's welcome Coach Coyote to the show. Alrighty, let's all give a big hand to Coach Coyote as he walks into the Sports News Review studio. Alrighty, Coach is all ready to go, and we'll start with the first question. So, as soon as sorry, Sylvester, I gotta get my I gotta get my bearings here. Okay, okay, so yes, okay, so we'll start with the first round panelist, Coach Coyote. So take it away, Sylvester. Coach, I go basics on a simple X and O's question. What about the miscues on the Bills' offense? Alrighty, a nice question to ask Coach Coyote to start the show. Here's Coach's response. Go ahead, Coach. Yeah, it's obvious when plays are drawn up and not enough time to run through the process of where to connect, where receivers should expect the pass from quarterback Josh Allen when the play is extended. Now, if new drawn plays are not practiced enough, I'll use a musical reference. It shows up at the most improper tune time. Thank you, Coach Coyote, for the response. Now, here's second question for Sylvester. Take it away, Sylvester. Coach, I'd like to ask another X and O's question on the first segment, but with the Buffalo Bills not going to the conference final, I'll ask a question about the release of Sean McDermott. Can you give us an opinion on the release of Sean McDermott? I just want to say, as a former player, then player coach, then head coach, and as a former general manager, my feeling is Sean McDermott had to win the Super Bowl to keep his job. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with the decision, but if the owner wanted to release Sean McDermott based on losing the game against the Denver Bronco, it seems to me that there was a plan with Buffalo Bills general manager Brandon Beane and owner Terry Pagula. It seems that Terry Pagula was going to accept no excuses for a loss in the playoff round or Super Bowl. All righty, nice uh, response from Coach Coyote. Sylvester has a final question for Coach Coyote. Take it away, Sylvester. Coach, Terry Pagula said he does not like staff that power play. As a former general manager, would you accept power play from coordinators and the head coach? All right, a nice question to ask Coach Coyote. Here's Coach's response. Go ahead, Coach. I always felt that if a coordinator or a head coach is doing an excellent job, the owner and I would notice how good of a job that they're doing. I would definitely ask the owner for a contract extension on the coordinator or head coach. Now, if the coordinators or head coach are doing a subpar performance on the job and trying to prop themselves by making excuses on other personnel, then that person would either be getting a request to be released by me to the owner or just simply not extending the contract. Nice answer from Coach Coyote. That's all the time we have for Coach Coyote. Coach Coyote will be doing NFL pregame and NFL postgame for the Sports News Review YouTube channel. Everybody, give a hand to Coach Coyote as he exits the Sports News Review studio. Alrighty, Coach. Good job. Excellent job. You can go back in your go back in your nice lounge chair and watch the rest of the show. And now we're coming up to our second panelist. Our second panelist is Barbecue Munchie. And let's all give a big hand to Barbecue Munchie as he walks into the Sports News Review studio. Alrighty, Barbecue. We got it all laid out for you. There's your spot right there. Ooh, I just got to make sure. Ooh, okay. We didn't do production meetings. We just did this real quick. Okay, so Okay, so oh jeez. Okay. Okay. I lost my spot. Okay. Sorry about that, Sylvester. I lost my spot. Okay, so Sylvester has three questions for barbecue. So let's start with the first question. Uh, Go ahead, Sylvester. Barbecue, do you feel that the Buffalo Bills offense had X and O's miscues? A good question to ask Barbecue. Here's Barbecue's response. Go ahead, Barbecue. I'll say that with Josh Allen, who I consider the best quarterback in the NFL, had some throws that Josh Allen would admit wasn't his best throws, especially the ball that skipped. Now, that the play was drawn and the receiver and the rest of the offense were in the proper positions. The part that's not X and O's is how the throw from Josh Allen fell short of the receiver. Good response from Barbecue. Here's a second question from Sylvester. Take it away, Sylvester. Barbecue, can you elaborate on the X's and O's origin and meaning for anyone who might be just starting to watch the National Football League? Okay, a good question for Barbecue. Here's Barbecue's response. Go ahead, Barbecue. Football coaches were drawn O's or symbols for every player on the chalkboard when drawing up plays on offense or defensive schemes. Then in 1919, Army coach Charles Daly used the letter X to represent the offense and the letter O for the defense. After 1919, many coaches used X's and O's on the chalkboard to draw the offensive plays and defensive schemes. Now, if it's a program like Talking Bill's X and O's, it's about talking about strategies and tactics that might be used by both teams. Since Talking Bill's X and O's is a program on YouTube, it can use artistic license to talk about opinions and about the schemes and player personnel. Good response from Barbecue. Sylvester has another question for Barbecue. Take it away, Sylvester. Barbecue, is there possible player personnel positions that will change in the 2026-2027 season for the Buffalo Bills? Nice question to ask Barbecue. Here's Barbecue's response. Go ahead, Barbecue. With a new head coach, the new head coach will have possible changes in for the offense and defensive coordinators. Those possible new coordinators will possibly put in players that fit their schemes. Nice question for Barbecue. That's all the time we have for Sylvester to ask Barbecue questions. Now, let's all give a big hand to Barbecue as he exits the SNR Sports News Review studio. Alrighty, nice job, Barbecue. Excellent job. And now we'll bring the final panelist up from the green room, and his older, it's Barbecue Munchie's older brother, Ketchup Munchie. Let's all give a big hand to Ketchup Munchie as he walks into the Sports News Review studio. Alrighty, Ketchup. He's got his spot. He's ready to go. Alrighty. Let's Alrighty, Sylvester. Let's get I get back to where my spot is. And we'll start with the first question for Ketchup. Take it away, Sylvester. Ketchup, with with the Buffalo Bills not in the postseason, I'll just ask one X and O's question. Was the was there complimentary football played by the Buffalo Bills? A good question for Ketchup. Here's Ketchup's response. Go ahead, Ketchup. I would say that there wasn't complimentary football in the sense that, yes, the score was close, but both the offense and defense played with errors. Complimentary football is usually long, sustained drives by the offense that can rest the defense or score on every drive while the defense forces the other team's offense to punt the ball. Some aspects of complimentary football can include special teams getting good field field position for the team's offense to start or to punt the ball deep, and other teams have for the defense to start to defend deep in the other team's half. Nice response from Ketchup. Sylvester has another question for Ketchup. Go ahead, Ketchup. I'm sorry, go ahead, Sylvester. Ketchup, as a former quarterback for the Plush Toy Football League, is there anything that can be said to help Josh Allen? Nice question for Ketchup. Here's Ketchup's response. Go ahead, Ketchup. I will simply answer no. I love Josh Allen, the individual, who just happens to be the best football player in the NFL, in my opinion. But Josh was sitting down in the locker room, and the weight of two burdens, one on one shoulder, the disappointment for a very good fan base, and the other shoulder, the realization that there'll be some fellow team players will lose their jobs, and some might not be in the NFL. If there isn't a team that picks up players who have been released or have no contract extension. Owner Terry Pagula was trying to console Josh, but the healing process begins with Josh Allen in the offseason. Involving Josh in the hiring process for a head coach was Terry Pagula and general manager Brandon Bean to start the healing process. Good response from Ketchup. And now Sylvester has another question for Ketchup. Take it away, Sylvester. Ketchup, with it being noon on Sunday as we're recording the show, what's your opinion on the new the new head coach search process? Nice question for Ketchup. Here's Ketchup's response. Go ahead, Ketchup. I was really hoping that former Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel was going to be hired, but now I just learned that Mike McDaniel has canceled his interview with the Buffalo Bills. I don't have a comment on Philip Rivers. There's so much negative feedback on that one. I feel that if he becomes the head coach and is successful, I would be on record that I was against the hiring. I have some reservations for Brian Dable, not on his ability to work with Josh Allen, but the emotional outbursts. Anyone watching the New York Giants game where the quarterback was in concussion protocol inside the medical tent, the running back was trying to peek in. Instead of head coach or any coach telling the running back to let the process go uninterrupted, the head coach, Brian Dable, forgets he still has a game going. He has Russell Wilson coming on the field to play. He's got Russell Wilson has no reassurance from his head coach to play in the game. But instead he's trying to get inside the medical tent. Then it looks like he's berating the process by possibly arguing with the concussion specialist. Even if the New York Giants were in contention for the playoffs, Brian Dable should have cared more about the individual and his health. Instead, it was like it was the 1950s and wants his quarterback in the game disregarding the long term health of the individual player. But if Brian Dable is hired, I'm not against his X and O's ability in the success and well, based with the success with Josh Allen previously. Now, the other candidates, I give them all the same opinion in that I will trust the process of a selection and hope for a successful career. Nice answer from Ketchup. That's all the time we have on Talking Bills X and O's. Everyone give a big hand to Ketchup Munchie as he exits the Sports News Review studio. Alrighty, Ketchup. That was really good. Did a good job. Alrighty, Sylvester. So, well, the show is about to be wrapped up, and what we have an announcement from our CEO B Bunny, and that is in the spirit of how the Bills promoted Brandon Bean to not only as a general manager but as a president of operations. CEO B Bunny has extended the contract of Ace Sports Reporter Sylvester for next season. And well, I know Sylvester's blushing right now. He doesn't, but Sylvester, we can't wait till the start of the preseason to start our show. Well, we started our show as an emergency situation where we wanted to put out the we put out the red alert that the Bills needed, and it did, and they responded, even though none of the Buffalo Bills organization has ever seen this program, but they responded perfectly. But at the end, it just came. It all, the game against Denver Broncos. So, well, Sylvester, I'm going to say that we're not going to miss Sylvester because Sylvester will be doing other programs. Sylvester's podcast and NFL news. Sylvester will be hosting the live stream awards, and Sylvester will be doing the NFL draft. So Sylvester will be year round in Sports News Review. Now, as far as the Blue Ribbon panel, well, the CEOB Bunny just wants to remind everyone that to be a panelist on on the Talking Bills X and O's, uh, he wants a blue ribbon panel, and being that they're volunteers because uh it's so that they are have an opinion of their own, and their opinion is not based on what the program Sports News Review wants their opinion to be. When it comes to when it comes to asking questions, Sylvester will Sylvester just does his job, and of course, he is the A Sports reporter and asks the tough but fair questions to our blue ribbon panel who want to come back. And oh, yes, CEO B Bunny has just informed me that he is asking that if all three blue ribbon panelists want to return to the next season, they are more than welcome as, to come back and join Talking Bills X and O's. But for now, we are going to end this season of Talking Bills X and O's, and we will see you at the first, right before the first pregame of the Buffalo Bills season. But b- between now and then, both Sylvester and I and the Blue Ribbon panel are saying that we're over and out.